Hello, tin can lovers, likers, and anyone above, below, or in between. We're back today with our final installment for this batch of Can-to-Can interviews, featuring a chat with our buddiest of buds, Dylan Saunders. You probably recognize Dylan from our work together with Team StarKid, but also his extensive resume within the LA theater scene. Not to mention several incredibly bizarre projects with us, like the Spilled Milk sketch series, and having him guest in our inaugural run of Kill Our Guest. In case you didn't know, this is only half of our interview with Dylan. The full, unedited live stream version and all past live streams are available on our Patreon. We even did a Zoom live stream with fellow Kill Our Guest alumni Devin Lytle that won't be on YouTube for several months. If you want to check it out and see what other fun perks we're offering, head to www.patreon.com/tincanbros. And for a few extra lockdown laughs, consider renting the digital ticket of Joe Walker's Kill Our Guest show. When it's safe to do so, we'll be recording digital tickets for our remaining guests, John Madison, Mary-Kate Wiles, and Tessa Knitting. But until then, you can watch Joe's, pre-order the bundle of 4, and pick up some Talking Trash merch at www.killourguest.com. Lastly, we wanted to briefly touch on a more disappointing bit of news. As most of you probably know, due to the uncertainty surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic, we've made the difficult decision to cancel the Spies Are Forever concert performances at Feinstein's 54 Below in New York this upcoming June. We're pretty bummed to make this call, but felt strongly that it was the responsible choice to ensure the safety of our cast, our audience, and the staff at 54 Below. If you purchase tickets to the Spies concert, the venue will contact you directly about refunds. But don't fret. When we're back to a solid sense of normalcy, we will be rescheduling the show. We will spy again. So stay tuned. Before we start the episode, I should note the very unique period of time in which this interview took place. We sat down with Dylan the Saturday after the COVID-19 pandemic response in the U.S. was becoming more widely known. At this time, major events like South by Southwest and the rest of the NBA season have been canceled. A number of talk shows were still in production, but with no audience. Even we had made the decision to move forward with Kill Our Guest, but cancel the performances and film with no audience. It's a rare snapshot of how we were processing the beginning of this unprecedented moment. When portions of the country were still going out to restaurants and bars, grocery stores were dealing with initial surges of panicked shoppers, people's jobs were shifting away from physical workplaces, and the shelter-at-home orders had not yet been put into place. It's very surreal to listen to this interview that's barely a month old and acknowledge the scope of how massively our lives have all changed. Now, we hope you enjoy our chat with Dylan as we dig into a wide variety of topics, including meditation, pie, what we're binging, and, inevitably, our initial thoughts, reactions, and fears about the world on the brink of pandemic. Let's elbow this mic.
You crazy?
Okay.
You crazy?
Social distancing
I know.
is
it
the
6?
only
It's supposed
thing.
to be 6.
It's supposed to be 6.
6 feet?
I heard it was 3.
Well, everyone in here is good, right?
Yeah.
As far as we know,
Yes.
And if you're not, you're just gonna stay at home, right?
Yeah. Hey, everybody! Welcome to this week's, month's, maybe last Can-to-Can.
The end of the... We're in an underground bunker.
This is... You don't realize that we have been live streaming just from deep, deep down below in the depths of the earth. This is this month's Talking Trash / Can-to-Can with Dylan Saunders.
Welcome.
So, hey, Dylan,
Hey.
thanks for weathering the world. to
Hey,
come
that's
out
all
here
right.
today.
It's okay. It's a little rainy in LA, and that's like its own apocalypse. So.
Mhm.
That enhances the
Quarantine thing?
apocalypticness of
Uh-huh.
it, but also makes
Yeah.
you want to stay inside.
Well, yeah, you don't really feel like any pressure to go anywhere because it's bad anyways.
Yeah, that's-
Well, like when it
which
rains
is nice.
normally in LA.
Exactly. People don't want to do anything anyway.
I was texting with Joe Walker the other day, and he's like, I bet all the people like at Netflix are just popping champagne because everyone's just like, this is probably when they're going to thrive the most.
But also, no one's going into the office. They are pretty flexible
Sure, so
anyway. But they were just saying the instant anyone was like, maybe you should work from home. Everyone's like, not coming in.
Yeah.
For sure. It's good that they have that option. But
you
I
can
mean,
Netflix your own work.
I think Disney Plus
Just Netflix.
launched suspiciously close to the coronavirus outbreak.
What did?
Disney Plus?
Oh,
Maybe
uh-huh.
they knew something was coming.
Well, they did
Bob
just...
Iger did because he
Yeah,
he was like, bye.
he's-
Yeah, this is all according to their business plan. Shoshona was supposed to cancel Disney Plus, and She's like, well, no, we'll just keep it.
Well,
Like,
also-
they're releasing
Frozen 2 3 months early
They're
oh,
because-
releasing it tomorrow.
because they were like
Wow.
to help through this
Oh.
difficult time. And it's like
And I'm
and
like,
all the schools are closed.
exactly.
Yeah.
on the one
Yeah.
hand, it's like
That
a very
changes everything.
cynical, like, marketing move. On the other hand, good job.
You know what? Yeah, truly.
There's a fine
adjust
line to walk between profiting from this and also like actually doing good.
between
Yeah.
getting
Like
Frozen 2 out
politicizing it,
and
yeah.
canceling
But
James
like, I mean, they've closed every Disney park in the world.
Yeah. Oh my
And
God.
Which is
this
pretty
the fourth
huge.
time. It's the first time that they've all been closed at the same time.
Wow.
Disneyland's only ever been closed 4 times, like unexpectedly.
Oy vey.
But they are paying all their like employees
That's great.
through that, which
That's
is like
nice.
the right thing to do. But at least they have so much money. At least they're doing
Yeah. Man.
And it's nice in like the basketball leagues and stuff. A lot of the players have been stepping up and like offering their money for like arena workers and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But like
it's-
maybe the owners should do that.
I think some are,
Yeah.
and I think like it's like slow. Like a few people do it, and then everyone will do it because they have to save face. But
Yeah.
it's the right thing.
But, like,
to
I will
do
say I've
if
had-
you're rich.
Some of the most positive encounters with people at grocery stores I've ever had in the last
Sure.
2 days. Like, it's really forced patience. I
Mhm.
think it's forced like people to be patient. It's forced people to like take a second and be kind. It's there's definitely like there was some people who were a little bit out of
Testy.
control, but like
Yeah.
I felt it was honestly it was more older people, and I was like, this is a little bit scarier if
Mhm.
you're older and you like can't get your stuff,
Mhm.
can't get your groceries, but.
It's sort of also like heartening to see the companies and like people that are like canceling things that are like gonna affect them negatively, not because they have to be, but because we should.
Yeah.
The biggest
know.
positive for me is the fact that I've been getting all these emails from every list I'm on about COVID-19, and I've been like
Unsubscribe
unsubscribe,
to this.
unsubscribe,
Oh my
unsubscribe.
God, all
Didn't
these
realize I
things
was
that
still
I've never
subscribed.
needed.
Oh,
I
good.
know.
I like
Oh
ate
my
at this
God.
restaurant 4 years
Yeah,
ago.
exactly.
That's so
Unsubscribe.
funny. I know. I got one from my acupuncturist, and I was like,
Ooh.
this is exactly what I want. But also, should I go?
My acupuncture place
I mean,
was
yes.
talking about how they're still open, and obviously they're taking all the precautions, but it was just like also all of our like professionals are very calm, which is true. It's like, and I
Yeah.
think that's probably like a type of personality you need to be around right now, because I
Yeah.
have a low grade panic that's just been like setting in
Mm.
all the time, and I know that's like probably me like projecting a number of other stimuli
Sure.
that are like coming in,
Sure.
but
Oh, yeah. The fear is like almost making people sicker than the actual virus.
No question.
In some ways.
That's
Well, not people who are infected. I mean, people who are not infected.
But like the spread of it is
Right.
exponential. So when it feels like it's too extreme and like we're like overreacting, that's the time to do it
Uh-huh.
because
I agree.
it's
I
gonna
agree.
Yeah.
like exponential is hard to like process because it's gonna start doubling. And,
well,
like,
yeah,
let's get
overreacting
out
The
of
is
time to do what? To
to like take
Be
these measures.
precautionary.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
like,
you're
I thought
not
you were
gonna
gonna say to panic, and I was
No,
like,
no.
oh,
To
man.
take like preventative measures.
Yeah.
That
of
like
course.
by the time it's bad, it's too late because it's exponential.
Yeah. And then, like, being in the belly of the beast, if you're, like, out in the world and everything around you is panicking, it's like, how do you handle that?
I noticed the same thing though, that like we were waiting with carts at Ralph's, and like people were just striking up conversations and just being like,
Yeah.
"This is crazy, right?"
Yeah.
And just like connecting
Yeah.
with
I love
strangers
it.
over
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I love it. It's the one thing that'll turn LA into New York.
God,
A fucking-
yeah.
A fucking pandemic.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yes.
It's been interesting.
New York is like being assholes. Like bars and restaurants were like full and like normal last night.
Uh-huh.
A lot
Like,
of friends
Upper
have
West
been
Side.
a lot of
Uh-huh.
friends have been posting recounts of people on the subway and how gross people have been on the subway, and it's like
Man.
people have been like, "Oh, I just saw someone spit into their hand and wipe it on
Oh.
the seat."
Dude,
Go
very,
away.
very grateful.
Why?
Not only that this is a car
It's
town,
just
but
like you're an asshole. That's not.
I know. I mean, the
it's
fact
like-
that LA is not quite, like everyone is already kind of self-quarantined, traveling around anyways.
or like at
helps
least
a
that
little
we're
bit.
like of a means that we are able to is nice.
Yeah.
But it's like fucked up that the recommendations are like if you are like sick, like and you have to go somewhere, they're like don't like take public transportation, don't take a cab, and I was like, then how if you like don't own a car?
Lime
if
scooter,
you're-
baby.
Yeah, I
How are
know.
you supposed to do
Just
like
whipping
no.
around in the.
it fucks
I
up
had a flat
over,
tire and I took
Ugh.
the bus for the first time in over a year,
Yeah.
and it was like
Takes so long.
a week and a half ago, and I'm like, is everything okay? And it's fine. It's
Yeah.
like it was actually really efficient.
Really?
Take the bus.
Now, Dylan, you've been a doomsday prepper for quite a while now.
So yeah.
So a lot of
my
people have been
God.
ragging on you for years now, being like, "Why do you need all that canned food?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing in that underground bunker?"
Honestly,
You're feeling pretty good right now, right?
Well, listen. So like the like just beginning phases of this started to like settle in, and Sean and I are like, let's go to Target. We'll like do a Target run,
Uh-huh.
and I literally stood in the canned food section and was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? This is crazy. Like,
Who's
why am
stupid
I
now?
freaking out? Well, and so, we got like maybe like a week's worth of food for like us and our cat, and that was like completely non-perishable. And even all the way to the check stand, I was like, this is dumb. Like, why are we doing
I think
this?
that's like useful earthquake.
I know,
Yeah.
and that's why I was like, well, we'll just have this stuff if there's a, exactly, for like any kind of emergency. And now I'm like, oh man. Now I'm like, okay, now the grocery stores are full, and
Mm-hmm.
so I at least have some like solace, I guess,
Yeah.
in that. But other than that, I'm like,
We did like a toilet paper and paper towel restock just a week or two before.
Same.
Just not.
because we were out.
We were out, and we were like, oh, we got to go to Costco and grab our stuff. And then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, thank God we just got
I
all
know.
that.
I fucked up and went to Costco the week before things got crazy, not thinking ahead, and then had to go back post people
I-
realizing and
I
just
went
like,
and-
oh my God.
It was not as bad as I thought, but also because they had run out of their shipment of like paper towels and stuff for the day.
Uh-huh.
There were apparently 1,200 people there that morning.
That has
But
to die
yeah.
down. That has
But
to die down.
I hope so. What
It
I don't
shall.
understand is like
It shall.
the hoarding of water.
Uh-huh.
That's a good earthquake thing, but even
Like have a little bit.
even
Right.
during
Yeah.
the Northridge earthquake, apparently things were only shut down for like 2 days. Like if gas and water go down, like it wouldn't be more than a week.
Also, it's
unless
raining
it's
right
like
now.
the end of the world.
Just put a bucket outside. Put
We
a
had-
bucket outside, filter
Dude,
that
Dude,
shit,
put a
baby.
bucket inside. We had a little leak the other day.
Did you really?
We had it was like a weird one that went through our heater.
Mm.
Oh.
We have like an old school heater
Yeah,
that's on the
With the
wall.
wall ones.
Yeah.
And it was like coming from the bottom of that, and I was like, oh no, but it was rain. It was for rain.
It's
'Cause it stopped raining and then it stopped.
Oh, okay.
it's been pouring
Got it.
here. And
Truly,
will pour
and it
for
doesn't
10
pour
days.
here like ever.
No,
Otherwise-
thanks for not canceling this.
Oh,
I
That's
think
okay.
it's
This is the
important-
one thing on my whole like month agenda that was I was
well,
like
I gotta do this.
I was like, is this gonna get canceled? And you're like, see you Saturday, and I was like, thank
We're
fucking
like,
God.
Well,
Like,
thanks.
Yeah.
I mean,
The risk is pretty low.
Yeah.
small gatherings,
Yeah.
the fact that we're able to stream and connect
Yeah.
with more people without
Exactly.
being in person is nice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
luckily, we were still, going into next week, able to do part of the Kill Our Guest thing
Oh,
by
yeah.
filming it,
What's
which is
happening
weird.
with that?
We're like
We're
filming
still
it.
doing it, just with no audience.
The silver lining is we're gonna take more time, a little more time to get creative with filming it to make the digital ticket a little more.
So it's
Right.
not just like a
Fun.
single camera in
Right.
the corner. But as someone who has done that before, you know that it involves a lot of touching. It's a
Oh.
lot of people in the same room. It's close quarters.
I just listened. Do you guys listen to Wait, Wait, Don't Tell?
Yes, they did an episode with no one.
It's the, for those of you who don't listen, you gotta listen. It's very fun. It's the NPR like quiz game show. They did it with no studio audience, and it's like, it's a little bit like yucca yucca. It's
Sure,
like
sure,
the
sure.
jokes are like a little
Yeah.
bit goofy
Yeah.
and like, but on purpose. And it was weird. They like, because it was the exact same content, and I'm like, oh, the whole place would have been dying right there. The whole like,
Yeah.
and
And it's just you hear the panelists trying to like laugh.
and you hear the panelists trying to make up for it, and there was also wherever
They were on tour. They were in Atlanta.
yes, so you heard the echo
Oh,
of the
theater.
space they
So it
were in,
wasn't
and I
even
was
like
like,
their
oh,
normal
this. I was
studio.
like, that is a little like that.
Just imagining them
Yeah.
on stage in like 1,000 persons.
Well, that's like the
theater.
Whoopi Goldberg clip from The View,
Yeah.
where suddenly
Oh.
she's
Have you
just
seen that?
like, have you seen this?
No,
Where she's just like, welcome to The View, and it's like, The View, The View, and they cut to the audience and there's no one there. It's
You're
like, it's
fucking
great.
kidding.
But
That's
it's
like
pretty
because
funny.
they stopped having audiences.
Yeah, and, like-
Oh my god.
yeah, like a bunch of shows.
Wow. Wait, that is so interesting to me.
I think John
Oh,
Oliver is having his
man.
last one
That makes
this
sense.
weekend on Sunday, and then they're like going on like an indefinite hiatus until
Wow.
shit slows
Yeah.
down,
Wow.
which sucks. I'm like, shit, all this.
Like,
Where am I
also,
gonna
like,
get my
production
funny
in
news?
LA, like in a bunch of TV shows, is like
I saw
And
that.
some of it has not, and there are a couple,
They're trying to,
like
like-
Mark Duplass has been like attacking Sony for not on
Oh.
Twitter for not stopping
yeah.
production.
But it also like headlining actors are all gonna be fine, but like
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the like
yeah, it's like,
I
what can you
know.
do?
The,
Below
like,
the line earners.
exactly the grips, the like
Yeah.
costumers, the,
Yeah.
like, all that stuff. Just
it's like
sucks.
my zero auditions are gonna go down to 0.
Oh God. Yeah, I follow a casting director on Twitter, and she's like, just to anticipate that this is going to slow down drastically, and I'm like,
It's always slow.
it's
always,
always
like,
slower. Like,
It's just
Okay,
it's just a weird time.
We're gonna keep trying to get away from this, and it's gonna keep on coming back to the
are we?
coronavirus.
Sorry.
But
Okay.
no,
You have to.
but it's
Yeah.
like it's an interesting conversation to have. I think one of the things I've been like pondering and thinking about too is that thing. You know, we were talking earlier about Broadway shutting down, and which like totally affects a lot of people. But it's like when you think about the regional theaters,
Like Broadway's gonna be fine.
Broadway will be
eventually,
ultimately fine.
Uh-huh.
Like they'll be able to extend their runs and do
or
stuff, but
figure it out.
it's like
Yeah.
all these kind of much smaller.
Like the regional theaters.
Yeah, the regional
all of them.
theaters, the
Yeah.
little things around
projects
town.
upon projects
And,
upon,
like,
yeah.
And I was reading about. I was like a little too young to be conscious of like that aspect of it, but like 9/11 fucked over basically all the regional theaters in the country because no one like
Yeah.
went out and essentially destroyed the subscription model. Like theaters used to be able to like thrive on like their subscriber base,
Mhm.
and after 9/11, just in general, people didn't like making
They
plans,
didn't want to
commitments like
plan
that.
a year in advance.
So then it turned to like theaters like depending on like selling individual shows.
Wow.
And like
Wow.
sort of the
Yeah,
economy of
I
that
heard-
crumbled.
The only 9/11 comparison I've heard so far that was like worse than 9/11 is Delta, I guess, announced that they're
Oh, they
only
can't-
filling planes to
Ha-
40% capacity, so which
Smart.
allows
And AMC's doing
And
that
movie
too.
same with
AMC's.
AMC.
And
Yeah.
they also canceled a bunch of flights.
Oh, uh-huh.
But flights
yeah.
are super cheap right now if you need to buy them for the
Oh my
future.
God.
But
Really? Like how cheap?
and
Pretty cheap.
and the CEO of Delta gave up his salary for the year.
Oh,
Really?
jeez.
So
Wow.
like,
That's nice,
which
but
is again, if you're like a CEO of like
Yeah.
Right.
a fucking
if you have hundreds of millions of dollars, you're
Yeah.
probably.
yeah,
Although your stocks are fucking tanked right
I
now.
know
But
it
who-
does. It does like bring up a lot of other like the image of Whoopi in an empty studio is very funny to me
Yeah.
because you go like, what were we doing before? Were we like,
People were just lining up for days to
We
like
were
see these
just-
shows.
you know,
and, like, yeah,
and like
I know.
and it's I mean maybe I'm saying more of the like the fact that you're used to seeing people just like
Yeah.
like screaming and
Just cut to some
Yeah.
stock footage. Like,
yeah, I'm
well,
like
the way-
I'm like, oh man, like
Do you
how do
need
we how do we
But-
like make joy right now?
but also,
if,
like,
we
that-
don't have the view, you know?
that
Like,
also
fuck.
like just feels like oh that's what Twitter feels like, just
Uh-huh.
screaming into the void.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it makes you like reconsider the set institutions of like what is normal, like the
Yeah.
fact that hundreds of people daily like go to the Ellen show and just
Uh-huh.
go to the Ellen show and like
That's
just so
part
they
of
can
our
be in the
culture.
audience
That's
and
part
like
of American culture.
and when you take that away, you go, what are these things?
Yeah.
If
Or
not
what
just
is-
people
Yeah.
sitting
Or
talking and no
What is
one.
funny if the
right.
big applause sign doesn't go
Right.
laugh and applaud?
Right. I was thinking that when listening to the game show today, and the other one, I mean, not to get too dark, but like, I mean, Bernie tweeted the other day, he was like, healthcare is a human right, and I was like, oof, yeah, especially now,
Uh-huh.
like,
It's
healthcare is a human right. We,
sort
you know,
sort of dark, but like in Italy, there's like there are like guidelines for the doctors in terms of like priority of who to treat.
Yeah.
Like you have to like
Oh, no
there's
question.
like rules for like how you evaluate that.
Sure.
And people are going crazy. I'm like, oh my god, like you like have to decide like dole out healthcare based on like whatever criteria. That's absurd. And I was like, in our
But
country, it's
That's what it
Yeah,
is.
in our
literally-
country, the deciding factor is who can pay.
It's based on money. It's based on
Which
your
is-
bank account.
Well, I saw
know.
I saw something the other day about a kid
Oof.
who was suspended.
Yes.
The kid who was suspended from school because he was charging people to use his hand
Hand
sanitizer, and he got
Shut up.
suspended. And then people were like, "This is honestly
That's-
what we do in this country. So why are you
Uh,
like punishing this kid?"
I
It's like
know.
A young entrepreneur.
a young
Yes.
entrepreneur in the American healthcare
That's my
system.
song.
So how do you think your character in turn would
Oh
handle
my god.
something like this?
After he died, spoiler alert. He'd be cool with it. He'd be like, let's go to Trader Joe's.
Now, some of those soldiers didn't have shoes. And that sucks.
Now, do you think if a pandemic swept its way through the American Revolution,
Yeah.
would you be here
Yeah.
today?
Excellent question. Well, with my musket, I think it went. No.
I think
But
I could have
also,
shot it.
Yeah.
Just a lot of diseases just happen.
Yeah.
Well, even now,
There just was
like,
disease.
Yeah.
I know. I was talking to my Korean friend Tia, and she was like, "We don't have panic in Korea. Like that's not a cultural thing. We just don't panic." And I was like, "Wow."
Everyone just goes, "Okay." Yeah.
Literally, she
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I there's no. It's like if you can't control it, why are you freaking out?"
In a lot of Asian cultures, this sort of like concern over the whole
Uh huh.
in
Mm.
terms of like
Is more it Trump? It,
yeah,
sorry, not
it,
Trumps, but yes.
like in terms of like
It's okay,
on a
we can use that
micro
word.
level, on like the a familial level, but also on sort of like a societal level in terms
Totally.
of like how like your responsibility
Right.
within that.
something bigger is way more important than you.
Yeah,
and
it's like
you're-
stay the fuck home, wipe your ass with a towel, take a shower,
Yeah.
get a
Yeah.
bidet. Like, you don't need to go out and infect people and get toilet
I would-
paper.
Wipe your ass
Someone-
with a towel.
someone
Wipe
post-
your ass with a towel.
was
It's on the
thinking about it, 'cause
CDC's
I was
website.
God,
I
wipe your ass with a
CDC
towel and then wash that towel.
Yeah, wipe it with a towel.
I will say Twitter has been excellent lately, just
Oh,
because
man.
all comedy Twitter has been pretty funny.
Yes.
Oh,
But
really?
someone
It
had
wasn't
posted
Twitter.
a video of like, whoa, when all the toilet paper's gone, it was just someone in front of a fire hydrant that's open, like, having a wipe their shoot into their butt, just
That's
to
a
let them.
bidet.
And they're like,
That's a
this-
high-powered
and they're
bidet.
like, wow, look at that.
Oh, man.
So, Dill, what have you been watching in your quarantine, or
Well, we-
doing? What
we
have you
watched-
spent your time quarantining?
I mean, a big chunk of the first half of the day, front half is meditation.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
I just downloaded Sam Harris's app, and I was like, I should probably like buy the subscription and
Yeah.
get this going.
It's good. It'll be helpful now, I think.
Mhm.
You know, so I'm kind of re-upping my practice there. And what else? We watched National Treasure
Great.
Wow.
the other day.
So good.
It's so absurd. And
The
yeah,
first one?
the OG. It was funny to like see all of the like stylistic choices from 2004.
Oh,
You're like-
yeah?
You're like, oh man.
Nicolas Cage's acting choices are always also just like
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah,
He
and I
just
loved that
commits.
prologue
Yeah.
with Christopher Plummer where he's like, "My grandson." It starts with the story with the little boy, and he's just like, "What are you doing?"
We just had no
I don't
cynicism
even
back
remember.
then. We
I
could
know.
make a movie about that, and
Exactly.
it probably still holds up because it's not.
Because it's nonsense.
Because
It's
you
nonsense
exactly
and they don't
you
care.
accept it right away. You
Yeah.
go, "Oh, great."
Did you ever watch? It must have been around then. There was a reality show on NBC called Treasure Hunters. That was
Oh.
Amazing Race meets National Treasure.
Oh,
And it was only
yeah.
one season.
man.
It was pure nonsense. You can watch it all on YouTube.
Wow. All right. So it's like a Kid Nation.
Was it Funny or Die started doing like recaps of Kid
Yeah.
Nation recently?
They had a podcast.
Recaps of
or was it a show?
like rewatching it.
Yeah.
Of Kid Nation.
Yeah, it was like a video that
Fun.
where they were like commentary, and I was like, this is not timely, but that's fun.
Yeah, and this was our whole life a few years ago.
Kid
Yeah.
Nation.
We loved that show.
That
Oh
was
yeah, I still quote it
2000.
to this day.
It's so
That
good.
was like 2011 though. 2012. It was
no,
like,
that it was aired.
oh no.
It aired in like early 2000s.
That's what I was gonna say
2000s.
when it aired. Yeah, yeah.
When we were
Oh.
in Chicago, we were like
I
obsessed
know.
with that.
That was like 15 minutes ago. It wasn't that long
That was
ago.
almost 10 years ago.
You guys
La,
ever
la,
watch
la,
Kid
la, la, la.
Nation? If you haven't, pause now.
Yeah.
Watch all of Kid Nation
Yeah,
on YouTube. And
exactly.
then turn this back
Weren't
on.
we-
The girl,
It was what's her name?
Laurel?
Laurel.
Laurel, who's a StarKid fan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there was a
That's
thing on
fun.
Twitter recently.
We had a
Or
moment
recently.
too because I introduced George Watsky to Kid Nation, and he loved it, and he tweeted about it, and
Oh, Mike.
Mike
Yeah.
wrote back and was like, "I fucking love you, Watsky." And we were like, "No way."
We had the same one weekend. I feel like Carlos was visiting way back when you and I lived together, and he came over and he was like staying with us for the weekend, and he was just in LA for the weekend, and we put it on and watched the whole thing. It was
Wow.
like, what do we do? It's like, well, let's start this Kid Nation, and we just stayed and watched the entire season.
Yeah.
I just remember.
It's great.
I mean, it was like 9 years ago in Chicago. Brian Holden tweeting about it because we couldn't find it, and someone brought burned DVDs and brought them to
No
like
way.
Oh,
Slamaganza maybe.
Oh man.
Slamaganza.
Slamaganza.
What a good
Because it was
title.
Brian's birthday. They're like, "Happy birthday! Here's Kid Nation."
Wow. The Slamaganza. I'm gonna have to say that about 10 more times before
Slamaganza.
I'll be able to leave. Man, 9 years ago. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It feels like yesterday, but it,
really
was 9 years
does.
ago.
No.
We just binged. By binged, I mean like there were 4 episodes. Did you watch that new Hillary documentary on? Hulu?
No, I'm curious about it though.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's really good. It makes you sad,
Uh-huh.
but also happy, but also miserable.
That's a great that sounds like a good documentary.
It really fluctuates just because you're like, this was the stupidest thing we've ever done as a country is not elect her.
Yeah.
It feels that way at least. At least it feels immediate, and it's in the midst of all this, you just go, oh, this was...
I mean, technically we did elect her.
Technically we did.
Yeah.
And it's like, even electorally, it's like, it was like under hundreds of thousands of votes that made a difference.
80,000 across 3 states.
Yeah. So you're like,
It's great. It's nuts when you.
it's nuts.
Yeah,
but
break that down.
it's worth watching.
Would you like to share your Hulu password with the people?
Yeah.
No, I would not. But I do play for Hulu Plus, so
Oh, right.
Wow.
no ads,
Yeah.
man. Hell no. I didn't realize how much of a difference that made until I got it and went, oh my God, I sit through like 5 minutes of ads every
And
show.
it's the same 2
5
ads
minutes.
over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
You know, like half the people in the commercials. You're like, oh, it's
Yeah.
so-and-so.
It's like Ashley Clemens
Yeah,
selling her
it's
eggs.
Ashley
Her
Clemens.
egg dish
It's
again.
Ashley Clemens. Exactly right.
That's happened several times.
Oh man, I see Ashley Clemens on TV more than anyone.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Selling her eggs.
Selling her egg
Her
products.
eggs.
Which honestly are probably in high demand right now because eggs, back to the quarantine, you can't get eggs, everyone, and but you can get egg in a cup.
You can't get egg in a cup.
Get out
Ashley
ahead of
will
this
sell it to
thing.
you.
Get yourself chicken. Just keep it.
Also,
It'll make eggs.
The U.S. has a stockpile of chickens and eggs.
What?
Because that is like a common way you make a vaccine.
Oh, because you have to test it in the eggs, right?
No, you grow
You
it.
grow it in the egg.
You
Something with
take
the egg.
eggs, you slice off the top, you put the virus in, and it grows. Then you take it out, you chop it up.
Wow.
So like
Cook up some virus.
Yeah. So I think ever
Scrambled?
since
Scrambled a virus.
Make it a little over
I think
me.
ever since maybe like SARS.
So stupid. I don't know why.
The government was like, oh fuck, if we had a vaccine we couldn't manufacture it, so they just pay for these eggs. They promise that they'll buy them regardless of if they use them, so that they have always a stockpile of eggs.
Futures. Egg futures.
Yeah. Oh god.
Egg
Yeah.
futures.
Maybe that's what takes so long to make a vaccine. It takes 1.5 to 2 years because you need to figure out how to cook the egg to perfection. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
do you scramble it? Is it 2 eggs? Is it 3 eggs? How do you season it? I don't know.
We finally finished. We finished Fleabag. We watched this
Oh.
docu-series
Wow.
that.
Yeah, we watched
Yeah.
You've never watched it?
Rewatch.
Rewatch.
Oh, rewatch. Yeah.
Did you
It
like
is.
Fleabag?
I loved it.
It's
So you watched
fun.
it for the first time?
Yeah.
It is so
I was behind.
good.
I'm always behind the curve on TV
Well,
consumption.
speaking of curve, we got to flatten that curve. So
Oh,
stay
man.
inside and.
Oh man.
Uh,
Yeah, and then we watched this really. We couldn't take our eyes off it. It was one of these it was so sad we had to keep going. Called The Trials of Gabriel Fernandez. Have you heard
It's on
of this?
Netflix,
Yeah.
right?
It's on Netflix. It's basically a crime story about this family that had been abusing their son pretty horrifically to the point where he died. And I know it's awful, but it basically zooms out after you kind of get their case to Department of Children and Family Services and how bureaucracy
man.
can just fuck up major
Big time.
real problems on a human level where it's 20 people fucked up. 20 there were 20 different, bureaus and offices and departments that all kind of were well, yeah, I wasn't okay with it, but I, passed it to the office that I needed to pass it to, and then they failed, and then the next one failed. And it's just man, oh man, it was an interesting look at
Yeah,
how-
that system is so
The
broken.
people you trust
Oh.
to fix things
totally
are not reliable.
totally
Because of the bureaucracy.
not reliable, and unfortunately there was some people that were, I was just listening and I'm man, how are you in charge of this? And then you learn that the Board of Supervisors, which is another governing body, it's one of the most powerful bodies in the state, they have interest in private companies, so it's they can be kind of bought. It's a bizarre, I don't know, it turned into this look at bureaucracy, but anyway, are we okay?
Whoa.
Wait, have we not been live?
Hey, you should probably know that at this moment, we became aware of a tech issue that stopped our live stream. Once we figured it out, we filled in listeners and picked back up with a new topic. So hopefully that explains the hard pivot you're about to hear.
I would like to pivot to Dylan. What did you bring us over there?
Oh.
This is something I brought with
Dylan.
me. I purchased at the store.
Really?
This was the last blueberry pie. It's
Whoa.
you may not know this, but today is 3.14. It's
Oh,
March 14th.
that is
A lot of
pie
planning
day.
went into this by me.
Yeah.
I planned.
Thank you.
You're
So
welcome,
much.
guys. They brought it.
But it is pie day.
it is pie day. Should we have some pie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Should I slice those?
Let's do it.
Is it
Cool, I'll
3
sanitize.
Hey, wait, Dylan. Let's
Yeah.
sanitize you real quick.
Sanitize you right the fuck up.
All right. All right, and we're gonna sanitize the mic. Yeah, and also, yesterday was Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
All right.
Spooky.
Now, what would you bring to a Friday the 13th party?
Ooh, good question. I would bring.
Just like a black cat?
Oh yeah.
One black cat.
Just one cat.
I like a black cat. I have a black and white cat. Maybe I'd bring her. She'd probably freak out.
I feel like
Yeah, she'd be like,
freak
fuck-
the fuck
she'd
out.
freak
She'd probably
fuck
freak the
out.
fuck
Horse
out.
cake.
feels like a
Oh yeah,
Friday the 13th.
but like black.
Did you say
fondant.
horse cake?
Black Forest.
Oh, a horse cake.
Horse cake.
You know, a horse cake.
You know, horse cake. It's got warts in it.
Oh, this was bought after the grocery store was ransacked,
Oh, it was?
right?
Yeah. What about yesterday?
Guys,
This nice
It's
pie.
funny what people aren't buying. It's kind
We
of
had
very
the same
telling.
thought.
Um,
We were like, so there's nothing frozen, nothing non-perishable, and the produce was
no
just
pasta, no rice.
Really?
overflowing with
At Trader
produce.
Joe's?
At Trader
dude,
Joe's.
the Trader Joe's in Silver Lake, there was no produce.
Okay, that's Silver. That it makes sense. That checks out
no
with
Silver Lake produce.
But I
no
was like,
produce
yo,
in
your
Vaughn's.
immune system is also important. Like, have fucking vegetables.
Yeah, well, it's because they're perishable, you know.
I know.
But
Oh.
I went to
I
yeah
also was
I
researching how to properly freeze vegetables, and it's a process. Some of them.
I was tweeting about this,
Yeah.
but I've been using it as an excuse to get all my fun bad snacks that I don't like. I'm like, well, I gotta get these corn dogs.
I got some chicken nuggets.
How else
Got
am
some
I gonna
chicken-
get corn dogs?
Well, the corn dogs are the only thing available.
God,
I'm
pie.
choice.
What the fuck?
Ow.
Pie is one of my favorite things.
Really?
I'm very happy. Thank you.
Yeah,
This is- I-
sure.
Hell yeah.
No,
Thank
I-
you for
love-
bringing
honestly,
it. You
Loving
brought
I-
it.
loving the time of
Thanks for
Corona.
Pie is like, it's a good thing.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, well,
okay, I'll move right on.
I also inexplicably got some crescent rolls.
Oh wow.
That won't store that long, but
You
I
could freeze them.
guess so.
Should we just pass it
You
down
can
and
freeze
make
most
our
anything,
pull our own
sure.
pieces?
Sure.
Dylan,
You
what's
guys
Everyone
your,
brought their pie, right?
what's your favorite pie? Like, are you a
Peach.
say peach? I
Peach
do
pie?
love- I do
Almost
love
got
peach.
Love a good peach
But
cobbler.
they only had peach pie with like fake sugar in it,
Oh, funky.
No,
and I was like, no,
Oh, what are we doing? here?
no, real sugar.
I used to.
There was no sugar added, but I was like, wait, you put fake sugar in
We used to do the Marie calendars, peach,
Mm.
peach cobbler, when I was a kid.
it. Like a microwave
Yes.
or like
Yeah.
frozen.
I love a good banana cream.
Ooh yeah, banana cream.
Oh right, you paused a little before you said.
No, I
that.
was just staring at this pie, and I went, "Oh, that's a good pie." Lost my train.
Oh.
of thought.
Hey Siri, what is the definition of a pie?
Oh man.
Which word? P-I or P-I? A baked dish of fruit or meat and vegetables, typically with a top and base of pastry.
A baked
Do you
dish.
want to
But like that.
I do like chicken pot pies.
Hey Siri,
Oh, did
who
you
are the
see,
Tin Can Brothers?
Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Have you done this?
Oh, it just rebooted the whole system. It just
Oh man, it
Um,
shut down.
shut down and restarted.
This is completely
Tom
broke.
DeTrinis on his Instagram made
This is
a
good.
pot pie that was real good. But then he made that cake yesterday. Did you see?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Who did?
Tom DeTrinis.
Oh, cool.
Anyways,
Anyways,
Oh, yeah.
so do you remember last June, when you were doing the Killer Guest show?
I do.
What was that like?
It was a little bit of a tilt-a-whirl, but but I had fun. I mean, yeah, I trust you guys with my life, so it was
Thank
like,
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was like, I have no idea what this shall be, and it
We
will.
betrayed that trust.
No, it was great, and it's the first time we've spoken in a year. So. Yeah, I had fun. I had Lauren. Lauren is one of the funniest people I think I've ever known. So it's it was a pretty good time. Not laughing.
Lauren
on
Lopez,
stage.
friend of the show.
Yes,
friend of the
yes,
show,
yes.
friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod, Lauren Lopez.
Yeah, I remember your show especially was a show that we could not stop laughing during. It's like
a while.
so much so that in the event that we would redo shows, it's like your show is a show that I'm like, I would absolutely do that show again
That's
if
fun.
we were able to like.
There's such a funny moment in the show where Joey comes up behind Dylan, and it's something like Joey talks about. He's like, "I became an actor because of Dylan," or something like that.
Oh my
And
god.
you just like burst out laughing. It was so funny.
Well, I think one of the things that we're still going to try to do this time around, but it'll be different without a live audience. But one of the elements which is funny is like only giving the guest a little bit of information about what we're doing beyond like rehearsing it, like giving them maybe their scene in the interview at the top and being like, and you have to prepare this.
Oh,
but
that's fun.
other than that, like, don't worry about it.
Totally.
You'll figure it out when we do it.
Yep,
Day.
yep.
It's like part of it is just watching people try to keep it together.
I loved your bit where my pills got knocked. My
The
God,
Oh,
just a good old the old chestnut gag of trying to pick up pills that are falling
Yeah.
onto the ground.
And
There's
it's
so
like,
many of
yeah,
them.
it's
and
I
then
think,
turn around and hit more over. No,
if anything, the show
that was
is
Jamie's favorite too.
If anything, the show is great to utilize funny sound bits. Because
Yep.
like as we're rehearsing it too, we're like, when we put the sound effect in here, this will
Yeah.
be super funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because sometimes you remember something a certain way. Like there's
Oh, for
one
sure.
sound effect that's a quote from a movie, so I was going to the movie to like find the quote, and it isn't as clean as I remember it in my mind.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just different.
Oh.
It's just totally different, and I go, wow, it's weird that I remembered it a certain way.
Well,
And it wasn't that way.
we were talking about this the other night. The idea of like how memories.
We, the four of us.
No,
Mhm.
we were talking about this at Very Chill Game Night. Like the memories you remember the most are the most inaccurate.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
because
there's research on this.
yeah.
you rewrite it every
Yeah,
time.
because
Yeah.
every time, and so it's like probably the purest memories are the ones like which explains the whole like Bernstein Bear
Yeah.
effect and like Mandela effect thing. The things that you like, someone triggers something and then you go, oh my god, I totally forgot, are
Yeah.
actually like the purest memories.
Yeah.
Never remember it again. Just remember it that
Yeah.
one
Just
time.
because you
Just
go,
like,
oh yeah, because the things you think about more often.
It's the same with photographs. There's also research that your memories of an event that are photographed are completely out of whack.
Why is that?
100%.
because they're based on the
It's the
photograph.
same
Because they're
You
you're,
put
Based
it-
on it's based
you
on
like
a s-
project your memory onto the photograph.
exactly. Yeah, and you're replaying an event of like an event that becomes more fictionalized because you go, yeah, this was
Like, why do I have a third person point of view, like from
Exactly.
outside the thing
Exactly.
if I was in it?
That's super wild.
I'm
Yeah.
fascinated by.
So if you want to
why we
remember
have-
stuff, don't take a picture. That is
Sure.
that is really I think that was the takeaway was listen, it's a like
Debate
it's a
it.
difference between
Debate
like
it.
it's a difference between like a photograph of
Give me
like like
Yeah,
if I don't
give me
know
that
if it's a
path.
vacation,
Yeah.
like you're taking a picture of on your vacation. Yes, this
I
is
like
to remember
crust.
our vacation. But if you want to remember like the essence of something,
Mhm.
It's
research
more
shows
effective to.
to not be recording
Yeah.
it or photographing it.
The feeling.
Follow me on Instagram.
Follow me on Instagram for all
That's
these hot
For all
takes.
these
super
great
interesting.
photographs.
Because like I also like take lots of pictures of like mundane things that like
Mhm.
are not like I wouldn't remember at all.
For sure.
That like it sort of paints a picture of like
Alright.
why did I take a picture of this random door?
Uh-huh.
That's why like my mom hates that I only take pictures of like things. Like my
Right.
mom's like, you don't send me enough pictures of you. I'm like, it's weird. I don't know.
I send
it's
your
all-
mom pictures of you.
Thank you.
I do.
Well,
Thank
that's what you need someone outside of your family.
Exactly, that's
to,
what you need
like,
I think I have done that too.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know. I'm like,
like-
oh, Denise needs this photo. I'm like, yeah.
That's
Denise,
why-
friend of the show.
Yeah,
That's
friend of
why-
the pod.
Friend of the pod, Denise Richter. But that's why it's hard that's why like, yeah, Instagram and stuff is like hard and trippy for me because I don't ever think to be like, I should take a video of myself doing something.
Well,
It's just
no,
weird.
I'll take videos of things.
Of things.
Yeah.
It's like, and even then it's like hard.
Lauren and I were
Just
talking
realized
about
we all
this in
touched
New
this
York
knife.
Yeah.
about like the newfound like kind of
Doesn't
obsession
help
of
that
like
much.
your knee-jerk reaction now is to like shing like
Mhm.
spark a phone
Sparkle.
out and film yourself doing the thing, and I
Mine isn't.
am so I deeply don't understand that.
Mhm.
I deeply don't because I feel so out of the where I am.
I'm barely making it through every moment as is. It's like
I mean, yes.
We were at
Also, we were
Also
talking
that,
about
also that.
this is like a mindfulness and like meditation thing that we were talking about while having this memory
yeah.
conversation
They
of
have-
like
yeah.
how living in the moment is like nearly impossible
Mm.
because
Ooh.
because time is constantly moving
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So it's like the way you experience a moment is honestly more of you. Like you're never actually experiencing anything as it's happening because you're already projecting what you think might happen onto something like as it like milliseconds before.
Do we talk about this? How there?
No.
I am recently coming around to the idea that there may not be such a thing as objectivity. It's just
Sure.
the lenses that we look at
Sure.
everything through,
Because
and
you
then
can't.
everyone else is looking at what they're you know what I mean,
Mhm.
and it's a reaction to to that, you know.
Mhm.
But yes, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I
like
agree
even
with
like
you.
mechanically with like
Wow.
photographs and stuff. They're,
So
like,
what do you-
That's not objective.
How do you stay in the moment? Sorry, not to put you on the spot.
Hmm.
Like, what do you think that is?
I think it's like looking at it as a window of experience.
Mhm.
Like I'm trying not to think. It would be great not to think of things 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's a good goal to shoot for right
Sure,
now.
Sure.
At least, like, I would like to not think 5 minutes beyond in the future and
Yeah.
5 minutes ago. Like, if I could live in a 5-minute window of experience, maybe that's good enough for now.
Yeah.
But you have to also plan. It's like the
Of course.
balance of living in the
Sure.
moment, but also like
And
planning
living
your
in
future.
Well, that's like
society and-
talk
yeah.
about meditation. It's like doing
Yeah.
mindfulness meditation, which I tried to like do 5 minutes of yesterday of like breath
Yeah.
work and breathing.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's
Yeah.
so crazy that so much of it is involved is like just about not thinking about that you're doing it. And but you go, so what do you do?
Mhm.
Like if you're sitting
Yeah.
around thinking about your breath and thinking about it, it is so hard. Sam Harris talks about this on like a Dax Shepard interview where he's like, most people like to sit around and like close their eyes and breathe for 10 minutes and go, I meditated. And it's like, but you were thinking about a million
Right,
things as
right,
you were doing that.
Right.
I did some this morning, and the rain helped, like the pitter patter,
Yeah.
like it was really nice.
That's cool.
Because and I've like tried in the past, like not super successfully, and it was just like diaphragmatic breathing and just like counting like in for 7, hold it for 7, out for 7,
Mhm.
and that ability to focus on just like that. Time was up, and I was like, oh
But even the attempt is good.
yeah, but
Yeah,
like
sure.
the like by focusing on that, I was still focusing on something, but like the counting and the numbers, I was able to like actually fully
Yeah.
not think about anything else.
Yeah, it takes me a
Mhm.
while. For me, it's about like each kind of
Mhm.
section of your body, like
Mhm.
because I do like a big scan,
Mhm.
and it takes
Uh-huh.
it takes a second. I do it like I take like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and then I meditate, and then it's like then
You're
go.
in the
yeah
because you have to shed the
you have
the
to go through
feeling
all of the fucking pizza. I listened. One of my
Huh?
favorite.
Wait, hold on.
My
Say that closer
I-
into the mic,
yeah,
please.
You have to go through the pizza. My
Oh, yes.
there's a Rinpoche, like this monk that I love, that was in conversation with Sam Harris, and the monk he referred to ambient thought as pizza. He goes, "You're in your state of mindfulness, and your eyes are closed, and then pizza, pizza, pizza," and it just made me so happy. It's like that's what happened. That's how we're wired. Is like. Okay, so the pizza comes, and look, there's pizza. Look at that pizza, and there it goes. You gotta let it go. You know, like
Yeah.
you can't freak out about the fact that you're not
Well, you can't judge the fact that you're having the thought.
exactly, or
Yeah.
that you're
can
meditating
acknowledge it.
wrong, or
Yeah.
that thing is stressful. Like, fuck, it's pizza. I'm allergic to pizza. Like whatever it is, whatever it is. So,
Yeah, you learn
Yeah.
a lot about yourself by just sitting
Oh.
there in silence.
Uh-huh.
You know,
and if you do it consistently, it's like choice.
for me, it's really helped me disassociate feelings from like stories of emotions. To be like, oh,
Uh-huh.
I'm scared right now, and go, am I scared right now? I have a feeling in my chest. It doesn't feel
Uh-huh.
good. And then you breathe into that feeling for a while, and it goes away. It's like a knot being
Totally.
massaged out,
Absolutely.
and you just let go of the thought association.
Absolutely, and slowly, I feel like you'll be out in the world, and things that used to scare you you'll react differently.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real fun is when you go, oh man, I would have a year ago I would have blah 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 if this happened, but now I'm not scared, or I'm not whatever.
For sure. And I
It's
mean,
so hard.
there've been a
That
lot of
takes work. That's what the
Yeah.
work is.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of good articles about it right now because of coronavirus.
Sure.
Being like, let's
Totally.
talk about mental health, and it's kind of
Uh-huh.
just like, yeah,
It's interesting seeing people like freaking out who like are office people who are like having to work from home and like dealing
Oh.
with the challenges of that.
Of like
Just
being with
right.
your spouse all day and
And
kids.
just like and figuring out how to
Just hating your life, hating your
Fucking
family.
hate my
and
family.
like how to work from home. And like I was like, it's just funny. I was like, oh yes,
That's
I've
what
been
we
doing
do all
that
the
for
time.
so long.
I've been
Yeah.
doing this forever.
Well, that's
Yeah.
I mean
I'm
to
always
tie,
out of work.
to tie
but-
back to bringing it back to Coronas.
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 Like it is like you're saying, like an element to this like self quarantine, be home, like work from home, do stuff from home. I go, this is not quite unfamiliar to me. Like this
Yeah.
is
My life is not that
my
different.
life is truly not that
Yeah.
different. I go,
Yeah.
I hang out and like work on stuff from home and binge a lot of stuff during the day, anyways.
Mhm.
That balance.
I'm a non-essential.
when I like work as a video editor in a production office, I find that so much of having to be in an office is about like it's not a good system to have to be in a place for 8 to 10 hours
Mhm.
because it's more efficient to work. I don't know. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that like you can get all the work done in 4 hours
there's-
a lot of times, but you have to be in an office for 8 hours because it's like a social norm,
Sure.
That's
sure.
a huge
and you
thing.
get paid hourly.
Mhm.
That like that's a huge thing. That like
That
in terms of the
sucks.
efficiency of like
Can you fit?
work. That's why like companies in like Japan where they've gone to like a 4-day or a 3-day work week,
Makes so
the
much
productivity
sense.
is just the
Right.
same.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, like only a couple times like had to be in like an open office. Those fucking suck.
Really?
I hate like just being around like other people.
Tons of yeah.
I go no.
I had a
Yeah,
friend
yeah,
that worked
a
at
lot of offices
BuzzFeed
are
for a
like
while,
that.
and that
Lot of
I was
That's
no
like
like,
bullpen style.
And
Ugh,
like
yeah.
that came
But
about
not
in
even
like
with-
the 70s, like without like the like cubicles. At least I'm like I get.
There's a
Right.
little bit of
Yeah,
Right.
like the idea. That's why, like, for the longest time, I was like, WeWork seems like a nightmare to me.
Uh-huh.
Like, why would I want that?
I went to a Soho house for the first time,
Mhm.
and that also gave me anxiety. I'm like, I
Yeah.
would never be able
it's like
to do
being in a
anything
library
here.
or something.
Yeah,
I-
exactly.
I like
But
occasional.
even then, it's like,
Like,
there's no,
quiet.
there's no
Yeah.
like, it's
And
generally permissible to just be quiet. in a
Yeah, and I
library.
sort of understand sometimes. Like, every once in a while, I'll want to go to like a coffee shop where it's like white noise.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Depends what task you're doing,
Exactly.
I guess.
Yes.
Yeah,
But in general, like, yeah, offices suck.
I know.
All right, guys, we are approaching the end of our first part of this.
How do you
Can-
know?
can-
Did you find out something out there about it being
No, I just went.
close to the end?
Well, no, I'm looking at the time. And we went a little bit over just because we wanted to make sure. And I just washed my hands again. Everyone was saying, you're touching your face so much. And I'm like, well, like, I didn't touch anyone in between.
He sanitized, ate pie. I was here the whole time.
I also just, like,
Don't
my
touch that.
beard is longer than it's ever been right now, so I'm just doing, like, this a lot. I'm trying to, like,
Yeah, you're very fire bringer right now.
oh, yeah. Wait
It's
till it
coming
gets,
back.
it'll be bigger.
Um,
It's just my beard, guys. It's fine. But it's fine. I got Perel right here. I got Perel.
I think just
Perel? Perel sounds like a math teacher. It's Mr. Perel.
so just signing off of the podcast portion of this.
Mr.
we're
Perel.
not the correct people to be giving you any advice on this.
Oh.
So you
So
know,
please turn to your local health
Oh.
organizations, city and county and state.
let's hope that the next we can just have a Slamagansas in the next couple months and just move past this
And
and
lots of
Slamagansas.
pizza.
yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you, Dylan.
Yeah, thank
Hey.
you. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, thanks so much for listening. Remember, the unedited full interview with Dylan, plus all past and future Talking Trash live streams, can be found on our Patreon. So, if you'd like to become a patron, head to www.patreon.com/TinCanBros. Also, Joe Walker's Kill Our Guest digital ticket, plus pre-orders for the 4-show bundle, and a bunch of Talking Trash merch can be purchased at www.killourguest.com. Finally, we can't express enough how appreciative we are to have a community of Tin Can fans like you during these strange days. We hope that the things we've created have brought a smile to your faces and made these tough times a little easier. We love you, and can't wait to share what we're cooking up for the months ahead, when the world has finally found its footing. But until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay tuned, my friends. Bye.